Bear Slayers are back, this time in the Blood Bison leather, their exclusive leather we just released for the first time on this boot. And if you don't know what the Bear Slayers are, it was my attempt to make the perfect Pacific Northwest boot that eventually kind of shifted into the Bear Slayers because I basically designed it to hunt bears in the Pacific Northwest. And so essentially these are boots made to murder bears. So we're gonna cut these, and I have never murdered a bear. I've tried for 10 years, I've yet to kill one, so ease up. But we're gonna cut these things in half, run through all of our tests to really figure out, are these the perfect Pacific Northwest boot? What we changed from last year, what I did to make this my perfect Pacific Northwest boot, because some people are gonna watch this video and come away from it, it's like, well, that's not my perfect Pacific Northwest boot. And what we did specifically to this boot to make it capable of hunting bears. So what is this boot? Well, the brand is Anvil XJK. It's our collaboration. The second year we did it. Last year we did the brown Bear Slayers. The style, this is the Blood Bison Bear Slayers. They weigh 2 pounds, 7 ounces. They retail for $675, and these are made in Spokane, Washington, USA. The way we position this boot is basically what I said. It's made for slaying bears, but there's 4 main things that we did to this that we're gonna go over that really make it different than basically any other Pacific Northwest boot. The flex teeth, the bear hug arch support, the box lacing system, the OT platform, which is my favorite Pacific Northwest platform, and the Blood Bison. So starting with the Blood Bison, what is this leather? Well, this is an exclusive leather that we designed with Seidel and the Blood Core line. It's a shrunken bison, and you can see we did flesh out and the grain out because the grain's so cool because you get the pebbling effect, and the way this Blood Core wears and ages is, I wanted to make a leather that you had to earn the patina, you had to earn the right to show the scars and scratches. But what's cool is, as you can see from these photos and videos, when you start wearing on those pebbles, the deep crevices stay dark, but the top starts to wear off into a bright red. When you really scratch it and remove chunks of that grain, it really opens up like it's a real flesh wound. It's just a flesh wound. But what's really cool is the rough out, because this really takes a long time to wear through. I literally had to put it on a sander to get it to really liven up a little bit. But you can see it's a lot more of a slow gradient, and individual fibers start popping up. And the more you beat them up, the cooler they look. And that's the whole concept of this leather. It's 2.5 millimeters thick. You look at the cross section, plenty of grain left in there, and you see that bright red core popping through. We did the burn test on it, and because this is a Latigo base where they just pack tons and tons of conditioners and oils and tanning compounds infused into the leather, it's almost self-conditioning. And when we burned it, you have to burn up all the oils and waxes before you even start burning the leather. And especially on the suede side, you see the difference between how the grain burns versus the rough side. We ran the puncture test, took 112 pounds to puncture through. And since this is an exclusive leather and we only do it in certain batches, only 500 available. So in the description is a sizing guide, everything you need to know to order a pair of these if they're not sold out already. If they are sold out, you get a limited edition email list, you get alerted when the next drop happens. So now to the 4 big things we did to this boot, starting with the flex teeth. Because the problem with most Pacific Northwest boots is so much leather over top of your foot that when you're breaking it in, and even after it's broken in, it's a lot of pressure on the top of your foot, and it really bites into your instep. So what we did is just make 3 giant teeth of flex right through the instep. So you technically have 4 cutouts, 3 teeth that allow this to bend and flex really naturally. So you add that to the bison leather, it's already flexible with these flex teeth. Breaking these in is still breaking in a Pacific Northwest boot, but it's a lot easier because of these flex teeth. And it works. It works really, really well. Number 2 thing that we did to these boots, which is the box lacing system. Sometimes you just have to relace your boots to alleviate some of the pain over your instep, over your front of your shin, wherever it happens to be. And so the first Bear Slayers, we did this box lacing system where you could cinch it up, and then we realized after, it's like, we could still do the same thing with all eyelets. So now the box lacing system is even more versatile, and there's like 5 different ways that you can relace these, that, as you can see here, that can alleviate various points of pressure over your foot. Number 3 thing we did was the bear hug arch support. This actually makes a big difference. Instead of just building up more arch underneath of your foot, I really wanted to support the arch around the side of your foot. So what we did is we took this regular panel that sweeps up here, and instead of getting that sweep, we dropped it straight down. And so then you have 2 layers of leather right over your arch, and that really hugs your foot so that when you cinch this down, you're cinching down your arch while still maintaining all that flexibility, that malleability of the bison leather. And number 4 is that OT platform, because it's my favorite Pacific Northwest platform or style of construction because it's really unique. Because most JK boots are more like this Super Duty they have, where you've got a full-length insole, you got a full-length midsole, you've got the leather wedge for arch support, you got that leather shank and a leather heel stack. And these are really, really nice for hiking and lots of heavy duty work because it really supports your foot and doesn't allow your foot to overflex. But for me, mostly casual hiking, working in these, doing some light duty work, the OT platform is perfect for me because instead of that full length midsole, it gets feathered down to a point. So you still have that full length insole that you're standing on, but you don't have that extra redundant midsole that allows you to do this with a Pacific Northwest boot that's brand new. So that when they're actually broken in, they feel a lot more like just a regular boot. And really the last thing that we changed was just the outsole, because it was, Blood Bison, we had to do Black Outsole, but this is a little bit harder than that Honey Vibram we did last year. This comes in at a 75 Shore, where the Honey's more around 60 to 65. So it's not gonna be quite as squishy underneath your foot, but it is gonna be more durable, and it grips really well. For like a hiking boot, for a work boot, it's just a good all-around outsole. But what's crazy about this is we did the puncture test on it. It took 271 pounds to puncture through. And as for how it's built, I'm gonna show you after we get it cut in half, so it's a little bit easier to explain. But just to give you kind of some context of where this boot fits in the spectrum of boots in JK's lineup, you've got it's just easiest to compare it to Ford trucks because they already call one of their boots a Super Duty. I've got a little Ford Maverick, Ford family. So to me, the F350s, their 1-ton trucks, are basically their cork boots. This is a dedicated work boot. You're not gonna wear these anywhere except for work and logging because they literally have spikes in the bottom of the boot. So this is like your F350. Then your F250 or your 3/4 ton truck is more like their Super Duties, perfect name. And so it's this boot can handle anything you can throw at it, but it's not solely a work boot. You can wear them casually to some degree, but they're mostly a heavy duty work boot. Then your F150s or your 1/4 ton trucks, more like the OT boots. Light duty, still definitely a capable boot, still beefier than most of the boots out there, but it's a lot easier for casual wear. It's a lot easier for hiking. It's a lot easier for more flexible uses. Like an F150. And then maybe your little Mavericks or like your JK 300 boots. So where does the Bear Slayer fit? Well, this is basically like the Raptor version of the F150. It's more over the top, more performance built, specifically designed for a specific purpose, solely performance based. Perfect timing actually, because JK is giving away a Raptor truck, so I'll put their giveaway for that Raptor truck in the description. So now let's cut these Raptor boots in half, see what they're all about, and see how that construction style is different from their other boots and why it's so perfect for hunting bears. What is it that you guys have been asking us for nonstop? Blood Core belts. Look at that. So super limited quantities. These are a pain in the butt to make. And so get them before they're gone. You're gonna be a little bit of the testing batch. So I'd appreciate some feedback, how to make this work better. Because it's basically the boot thickness leather doubled up, sewn together with our classic solid brass buckle. That's not the only brand new thing that we released. So we finally released all the wallets, including the Clayton and Blood Core. You can see that the edges are not nearly as bright because we have to burnish them, but that'll start popping out more as you wear it too, just like the actual Blood Core concept is. But there's more, because this is another thing, people are like, hey, we want to buy Blood Core. So we got little baby panels and we got Big Daddy panels. And then you've obviously got the boot pocket kit. You've got coasters. You got the little bracelets. You got the ring kits. So limited quantities, get them before they're gone, especially limited quantities on these. Because it's just a trial run. We're learning how to do this with this leather, and so it's a little bit of a trial run. Thank you guys for your support of Blood Core. You can only get it from us. And we finally opened it up to a belt and all of our wallets. So check them out below. All right, we got them cut in half, but huge shout out to JK for making us 2 pairs so I could actually wear a pair and really show you how they wear and all those cool shots that you've seen in this video, and still have a pair cut in half, so I get to keep my pair this year. So if you're not subscribed, consider pushing that little subscribe button. If you want a pair of these, they're in the links in the description. There's only 500 available, so if you're watching this afterwards, just get on that limited edition email list for the next drop, if we do another drop of these. So now, let's see what's inside the Blood Bison Bear Slayers. So now you can see exactly what I meant. That midsole feathers down to a point. You got a little bit of a filler material for the gap that's caused by the upper being tucked underneath. You got that full length insole that's that thick veg tan that shapes the shape of your foot, giving you that footprint. And JK sends these with a little insole too that's like 3 millimeters thick to give you just a little bit of squish to break them in. And look at that big old chunky heel counter. That thing is as thick as the midsole. And you can see now that it is truly triple layered up over your arch because you got the lining, you've got that vamp layer, and then you have this layer that's wrapping underneath as well. And so taking everything that we did with the flex teeth, the bear hug arch support, the OT platform, the Blood Bison, the box lacing, that is why it's the perfect bear hunting boot. That's why it's my perfect Pacific Northwest boot. And don't get me wrong, you still have to earn the right to wear a pair of these boots, but that's part of the fun. You gotta earn the right to get a comfortable pair of Pacific Northwest boots, and you gotta earn the right to show the scars and scratches and the blood coming from the Blood Bison. And a huge shout out to JK, especially the production crew, for being willing to put up with this pattern because it is weird, it's different. You gotta do all these weird sewing lines. It's asymmetrical, it's all this stuff that's really, really tough for boot makers to make. It's a dream come true. So thank you guys. Thanks to JK Boots. Check them out below. See ya. Blood Bison Bear Slayers, bitch.